Alright, so 3.5, dilations part 2, other fixed points. What do we do if the origin is not our center of dilation? Right? While the origin is the common center of dilation, technically you can use any point on the coordinate plane. It doesn't have to be the origin. For example, in the picture on the right, P is our center of dilation, and P is 3, 1. So the center of dilation can be anything. If the center is not the origin, we use the vectors to dilate a figure. We will use their vectors. Who can remind me what vectors are? Vectors are just your directions, right? Like from point P to point A. How do I get from point P to point A? Those are your vectors. Vectors are just directions from one point to another point. Vectors are just directions. Like explaining how you get from your house to Taco Bell. If I asked, how would I get from point P to point A, how would I do that? I would have to go left 1 and up 3. So I would have to go left 1, up 3. Those are just directions from one point to another point. That's a vector. And instead of parentheses, we use the vector brackets to remind us that it's a vector. Let's take a look at how this would work. It says consider triangle XYZ, and then it gives us the coordinates for X, Y, and Z. It says follow the steps to apply a scale factor of 3 using point P as the center of dilation. So we know our scale factor is 3. Our K is 3. We already know the first two steps. They're the same in every one, right? Step 1, label your X and Y axis. Step 2, graph and label your pre-image. Alright, so X is negative 8, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's left 8 up 3. Y is a negative 3, 5. Left 3 up 5. And Z is negative 4, 1. Left 4 up 1. Graph and label your pre-image. Step 1 and 2 completes. Questions about step 1 and 2? Alright, so we know our scale factor is 3, and we know our center of dilation is negative 7, 5. So we're going to go ahead and graph that. Negative 7, so left 7, up 5. This is our new center of dilation. This is our new center of dilation. Alright, step 3, find the vectors from the center of dilation to all of your points. So we need to ask ourselves, how do we get from the center to our points? So for example, first we're going to go from P to X. From P to X, we had to go left 1, down 2. From P to X, we had to go left 1, down 2. Left 1, down 2. From P to Y, we had to go right 4, no up or down. Right 4, 0 up or down. And from P to Z, we had to go right 3, down 4. Right 3, down 4. It's just directions. Step 4, apply K to all our points. That's the scale factor. So we're going to multiply all of our vectors by 3. we're going to apply K to all of our points. So from P to X prime is going to be -3, -6, right? Because we're multiplying everything by 3. P to X prime is -3, -6. P to Y prime is going to be 12, 0. So 12, 0. And P to Z prime is going to be 9, -12. Right? And we're still using the vector brackets because we're still in the vectors. We're still starting at P, our center of dilation. Right? It says apply K to all points, which we did. Then graph and label our image from the center of dilation. Right? So in case you forget where to start, it tells you from P to X prime, you go left 3, down 6. Start at P. It tells you to start at P. Go left 3, down 6. And that will be X prime. Again, start at P, go 12 to the right, and that'll get you to Y prime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Y prime. And from P to Z prime, 9 right, 12 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Z prime. Right? So because we were still in the vectors, we started at the P, which is our current center of dilation. That's our new center of dilation. So X to Y to Z. 3 times as big. We increased its size 3 times. Now that we're looking for the coordinates, parentheses mean coordinates. Now that we're looking for the coordinates, we start at the origin. Coordinates always start at the origin. So to get from the origin to X prime, we had to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and down 1. Left 10, down 1. To get to Y prime, we had to go right 5, up 5. Right 5, up 5. And to get to Z prime, we had to go right 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down 7. Right 2, down 7. Right? And that put us all the way through step 5. Step 5 is determine the coordinates of your new image and write them down. Whether you do them 1 point at a time or 1 image at a time, the rules still apply. Because we're dilating, we multiply all of our vectors by the scale factor. In this case, 3. We multiply everything by 3 to make it 3 times as big. Questions? We'll do another one and we'll do it together. So I'll give you a copy of it so we can do it together. And that way you can jot down notes on it. And that way afterwards you can glue it in and it'll be part of your notes. It should look exactly like your example. It says graph and label the image of the figure under the dilation with the given scale factor and center of dilation. So it tells you, it's going to give you the scale factor and it's going to give you the center of dilation that is not the origin. Right? So, just like before, start step 1. Label your x and y axis. Always label your x and y axis first. 1, it reminds you which is which. And 2, if your origin is over here, then when you label the x and y axis, you'll recognize that your origin is not in the center. Right? It helps you figure that out. Step 2, graph and label your pre-image. J is -1/8. K is 5, 6. 5 to the right, 6 up. L is 7, -2. 7 to the right, 2 down. And M is 1, 0. 1 to the right, no up or down. All right, we know our center of dilation is -3, -2, which means left 3, down 2. And if it doesn't give you a letter, you can name it whatever you want. Use a letter that's not already up here, right? You could use C for center, or D for dilation, or P for point. It doesn't matter. I like P for point. Unless there's P up there, and then you got to use something else. But you can name it whatever you want. So we have our pre-image graphed and labeled. We have our center of dilation graphed and labeled. Step 3 was determine our vectors from the center of dilation to our points. Right? So from P to J, I had to go right 2 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right 2, up 10. Make sure you're using your vector brackets. From P to K, we had to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 right, 8 up. Easy enough. From P to L, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the right. No up or down. And P to M looks like 4 right, 2 up. Alright, so finding our vectors, Once you have found the vectors, then you need to apply the scale factor. Multiply everything by the scale factor. Multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2, right? So divide everything by 2. Because there's a 1 in the numerator, you can just divide everything by the denominator. Just divide everything by the denominator. So we're going to divide everything by 2. So P to J prime is going to be 1, 5. P to K prime is going to be 4, 4. We're just dividing everything by 2, which is the same as multiplying everything by 1/2. We're finding the half of everything. P to L prime, 50. And P to M prime, 2-1. Questions about applying our scale factor? Alright, once you have your new vectors, you're just going to graph and label your image. But it says start at P, go 1 to the right and 5 up to get to J prime. Start at P, go 1 to the right, 5 up, and that will give you J prime. Start at P, go 4 to the right, 4 up, and that will give you K prime. For L prime, start at P, go 5 to the right, 0 up or down. You can kind of get the sense that you're moving in the right direction because it's center is here, and then you have your J and your J prime in the middle. It's halfway down. That makes sense. At least you know you're moving in the right direction. For M prime, start at P, go 2 to the right, 1 up. Graph and label your image. Finishing off step 4. And then step 5, determine the image coordinates and write them down. So, because we're doing coordinates now, we start at the origin. To get to J prime, we had to go 2 left, 3 up. 2 left, 3 up. To get to K prime, we had to go 1 right, 2 up. To get to L prime, we had to go 2 right, 2 down. And to get to M prime, we had to go 1 left, 1 down. Five-step process. Do each step one at a time. Try not to look at the big picture. Look at the steps, and that way you'll know you're making progress.